What's good, y'all? It's Kilo. You already know what we're doing today. We're gonna be going over how to make like a Che pretty fun, like Rex V2 Majins, all that kind of stuff, like a tight beat like that. I'm gonna make it simple. I'm just gonna link my beat channel in the description, so if you want the beat that I'm gonna be using in this tutorial today, you can just go to that and it'll be probably right there. Make sure you sub up and go follow the Insta at Kilo2K. Anyways, you know what? Let's stop wasting time. Let's hop right into the tutorial. Let's get it.
Shut up and listen.
Alrighty, we are inside FL Studio now. We got everything we need to show and go over this beat right now. Let's just get right into it. We got 156 BPM. Alright, hopping into the first plugin, we're using Expand. I'm using this preset on the organs, 21 purple. And all I really did is I just laid down these chords right here, nothing much, and I'll just show you the pattern right now. It's nothing too crazy. Yeah, so I have these like little secondary chords, and I have them play up another octave just to give it a different feel. And just on the master for this, all I have is a little bit of a bit crush on it, just to spice it up, because I feel like Pretty Fun, Majins, all them kind of use that kind of bitty kind of feel to their melodies, which really gives it that like techno kind of vibe. So that's just the Expand one. That's our main melody. Our next melody here, we got Xenology. We got the Xenology Oct Brass. You can find this in the synth brass section, 254. It's gonna sound like this. I just layered it on top of the main melody from before, just to give it that kind of like, just make it feel a little more full. No secondary chords on this one. And for the little trumpet kind of sound and brass, I added just an EQ on it. Barely touched it, honestly. You could probably not even touch it. It sound the exact same. I don't even know why I did that. So those two together sounds like this so far. So you already know the vibes. It's already kind of chill. It's like giving that Pretty Fun kind of feel. And then there's a little more accents that I added and little top line melodies. So we'll start with this one right here. This is just a Surge XT preset Butter in the lead section. Just kind of like an interesting, like weird accent that I thought sounded cool. So has a little bit of delay on it, and it just repeats. And then on this, all I threw on there was another EQ. I don't do much. I kind of like these original melodies, at least for this beat. Sometimes I'll throw a shaper box, but I really like the sound of this one, so I just EQ'd it a little bit, turned up the mids, turned down the treble just a tiny bit. Just gave it that nice little like softer kind of feel. And then honestly, it's pretty simple from there. It's just simple two melodies. This one I got out of Xenology. This is just the Clean Me. Honestly, I don't even know where I picked this up. Let's see, it says it. Synth Poly Key. So yeah, you just scroll, type in the number, whatever. It just sounds like this. Here, I'll play the melody for you. It's kind of just a pluck sound that Pretty Fun and a lot of them use. So here's what it sounds like. A warm kind of plug. It just repeats on every second and fourth bar. So nothing too crazy. And for this one, all I did for this one in the mixer, I threw three things on it actually. I got a casual EQ. On it. Raise the high mids, lower the treble, just because I had a lot of things going into the treble, so I didn't want to make it too like hurt your ears. This I threw on it. I didn't mean to, but I never took it off, and I don't know. This you don't gotta put on there. And then I just have a Valhalla Vintage Verb, and I just changed the color to now and just messed with the settings a little bit. It's a very simple beat. I didn't want to have too many sounds. I wanted a lot of room for the artist. And if anyone who's an artist watching this who wants to hop on this, bro, like DM me right away, bro, because I'm trying to work with anybody. Anyways, we got Xenology again, and we're using the edge boost on this one. It's just a synth that kind of lays on top of the whole entire melody. so it's pretty simple. All I added was just a little bit of an EQ, didn't do too much, just lowered the high mids because some of my other sounds had the high mids pretty cranked up there, so like I wanted to balance it out pretty evenly. And this is the one I turned up the treble on, therefore I turned all the other ones kind of down because I thought this one should stand out the most. So that's the melody. So I'm gonna play the whole melody again, even though you know the whole beat. I could play it all together, but it doesn't really sound good all together, so it's kind of like one at a time. I'll play like each section real quick. So here, let's play this first section, the intro. Yeah, you get the vibes, And then we got the first part of the hook. And then that just repeats. And then we got the second part of the hook. We bring back in that brass. Yeah, it's kind of vibey. And then the first verse, or I should say the only verse, because I do 2 hooks and a verse in all my beats. Well, most of them. This is where I put the lead on to change up the feel. You already know, it just repeats. Second part of the verse, I took out this and I put in that little kind of climb. It sounds hard with drums. And that just repeats. And then this is the bridge right here, no drums. We bring in all the sounds. I think this is the sauce right here. I'm going to let y'all know the sauce. At least from what I've learned from many other producers, the strat with the bridges, take like the sounds that don't go in your hook. I mean, you can take one just so it blends a little better into your hook, but I typically leave out all the sounds that I put in my first part of my hook and put them in the bridge. So like, see how I have the so see how I have the main hook here with these 2 instruments, and I bring in the other 3 for the bridge. So it sounds like this. And this fades really nice into the hook here, you'll see. Exactly. And then when we get to the drums, it'll all make sense, even though there's no drums there. But it's going to sound hard on that drop. And lastly, it's just the outro. It's the same thing as the intro. That's what I do for all my beats as well. This is actually the order I actually placed in all the drums. I started with the open hats, which I don't see a lot of people do, but I felt like for this beat, just how it was feeling, I started with the open hats. So I'm gonna just go one at a time here. Just go out each pattern. Start with this. Very easy pattern. Same thing repeating. You get the point. It's just the same thing. It's gonna sound nice when it comes in. This is like my secondary kind of, you know, open hat that I have playing at the end of each 4 bars. So it sounds like this. It's basically the same open hat. It's a little different. If you want to, you can change up the velocity so it sounds a little bit like that. But I just kept it the same because my beat's kind of loud, so it would be pointless to bring it down. And then we got the hi-hats. This is what I did next. Some people jump to the snare, some people don't. You know, everyone's different. Whatever you want to do, as long as it sounds good. I have a pretty simple pattern. You could see it repeats. What I do, at least for my pretty fun beats or anything like that, I usually have one big roll, but then I don't repeat it. I just have it one place out of the 8 bars, one little spot. And this is what I chose to be my little spot here. And you see I have a few more rolls in here. The first 2 bars on this side, the first 2 bars on this side are pretty much the same. And then I just do the same thing, but I change up that roll at the end. So let me play this for you anyways. One thing I do want to point out with these 3 hats right here is I play these very offbeat. It kind of gives like a different vibe to it. Like you can tell, like here, these are all on grid, and you can tell those are a little off grid, but it sounds nice. It's just a good like accent kind of hat, like pattern to add on top of your regular hi-hat melody. So I really like doing that with a lot of my beats as well. All right, on to the clap. You can see by the name, it's just a basic clap, so it's nothing crazy. Although I can tell you one thing is I did off-center this by 1. Every other bar I off-centered the clap by 1, and I lowered the velocity because what I did is you'll see in the next instrument I put a snare there, and it kind of creates a cool like effect you'll see right now when I put it all together. Alright, so here's the snare. It's directly on where the clap should have been, but it's just a snare instead. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, exactly. So nothing too crazy there. And then this is just the kick. So this is just the 808 pattern. And also what I used to do, it could just be me. When I was like getting new to beats, I'd place the kicks like directly where I placed the 808s. So the 808s are like, if an 808 played here, then here, I'd place the kick all the way up there. But I learned to always have it on C, no matter what the if your 808's all the way up here, I still have it on C. I learned that the hard way. I've been through countless beats where I did that, and I low-key wasted a bunch. But yeah, let me just play the kick here. And it basically just repeats. So one thing with the kicks and 808s in general is you want to have them play more frequently on these kind of beats, because like you want to give the artist space with your other drums, but you want the 808s to be where it hits. Like, so a lot of people do like keeping their 808s simple, so it gives the artist room. And you can see I do that in some spots, like here and here. But like for the most part, like don't like abuse the 808s, but like you can condense them a little bit, because that's just the style that Pretty Fun Shay, Majins, all them kind of use for their beats. And lastly, or second to lastly, I should say, we got the 808, just a simple pattern here. This is more like a sub bass kind of 808. I have this turned up to full velocity. I always do that, or at least I started recently do that now. Usually I would go into the mixer track and I'd crank it all the way up like that, but I found out that's not a good way to do it. It doesn't make a difference. I don't know, but I've seen other producers just do it this way, so I just tag along, you know. So let me just play it for you. Yeah, so nothing too crazy either, you know, keeping it simple for the 808s, just, you know, having them hit a bunch of times. And then that's all we really have for this, and that's almost it for the drums. I got one more thing I gotta show, and it's down here, pattern 13. And this is just a second 808. It's the exact same pattern, a different 808 though, because when you get to the verse, you can do this in the second half of the verse, you can do it in the first half of the verse, you don't have to do it at all, but throwing in a second 808 gives it a lot of variation, and a lot of people, everyone does that pretty much. So yeah, here's the here's the 808 pattern, just with the other 808 now. And then it just repeats, but then you know that it's just a little different than the other one. It gives it a different texture when we play the whole beat together. And the last thing we can really go over is the stuff that's outside of the actual patterns, this EQ level. So what you do for your melody is you see down here how these are all rooted to number 6. Like this is rooted to 6. These are all going to 6. And then on channel 6, you just throw in another EQ and just take out all the low end and kind of create a balance. Cody put me on for that one, because sometimes I just go like this and cut it off, but sometimes you want to measure it out with your 808s and really play the beat together to see how far you need to go. So, you know, I cut out a little bit more of mine because I feel like there was a lot of low end or like high, like warm kind of feelings, so I did that. And basically I only make it like active when the 808s are playing. So during the bridge I let it drop, and then during the intro I let it drop. And then you could technically let it drop here, or even here if you really wanted to, but it doesn't make too much of a difference because you're going right back into the 808. And then last, what I do for the outro, I just have master volume automation clip. It just fades out, nothing too crazy. If you don't know how to do that, because I know I didn't for the longest time, I had no clue, all you do is you go to the mixer track, the master here, right click on the knob, create automation clip, and it's canceled out because it's there. And you could just do this and it'll just make the track fully quiet. So that's what I do at the end, just have it fade out, because if you don't have the consolidated tracks to where you can fade them, and obviously you can't fade the drums unless you consolidate those two, it's much easier to do that. Anyways, that's the whole beat. Let's give it a run through one more time. And yeah, so my first ever tutorial. If you need me to go in depth, I can always make another video on a different beat, and you know, I'm just trying to get used to it and everything. Yeah, man, 2025. Let's keep going. Let's get it. All right, here's the full beat.
Shut up and listen.
Alright, y'all, I appreciate y'all for watching. If you want to see more content kind of like this, I'm gonna keep getting better at it, because I'm just starting out doing tutorials. I've never even talked to a camera, so kind of new to it, but I'm gonna keep getting better. And just make sure you like, subscribe, share it if you mess with it, and then go follow. And you know what, not even to like self glaze myself, but like let's just all lock in. Like, you follow me, I'll follow you back, man. Let's go. But anyways, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.